In this video, we shall discuss about what are the reasons why the air quality index is been decreasing in Delhi. Okay, so to know about these things, you need to understand the geographical location of Delhi, how the geographical location of Delhi is actually contributing to decrease in the air quality in Delhi. What are the local sources of pollutants? What are the transboundary sources of the pollutants? And what are the meteorological conditions which are responsible, especially in the winters, which are responsible for the decrease in the air quality? And some of the geographical concepts you need to understand to know why the air quality index is decreasing in Delhi. Okay, the first thing is geographical location. See, the first thing is the bowl and valley effect. What is meant by bowl and valley effect? See, if you see the location of Delhi, okay, so this is the location of the Delhi, right? So this is the location of the Delhi, and you have Aravalli ranges on this side and Himalayan ranges on this side. Okay, because of these two things, and this Delhi is in Indo-Gangetic plain, that means low-lying plain this is. Okay, so because of this one you have valley effect. Let's see what is the valley effect over here. This is Aravalli range, this is Aravalli range, and this is Himalayan ranges, and here you have the Delhi. Okay, so that means you have the valley effect. That means on the both sides you have the mountain and middle you have the valley. So what happens is that because of the pollutants which are produced in Delhi, okay, they raises up and reaches to a particular point. Because there is no ventilation for the air to move out of the Delhi, it remains over here. I hope you understood, right? That is what actually the bowl effect means. That means, see, it is simple like that. Suppose if there is a guy who is actually smoking cigarettes in a particular room which doesn't have windows and doors, what happens? The air will not go out, the smoke will not go out, it will stay over there. The same thing what's happening over here also. So Delhi, you have lots of pollutions it is actually emitting because of the car emissions and the factories and everything, and because of the two mountains on the both sides, it's not allowing this air to escape from these things. And also in winters it becomes much more worse because the air movement will be very less in the winters. So that is the reason, that is the meaning of the bowl and valley effect. Okay, the next one is the proximity to sources of the pollutants. See here, this is again, see this is Delhi, right? And here mainly there are two places where actually stubble burning happens. So one is Punjab, Haryana, and some parts of the UP. So this part. Okay, so these are the sources of the stubble burn, and Delhi is very proximate to that. This is also one of the reason why the geographical factors are contributing for the decrease in air quality index. The next one is the factors of continentality. Okay, so what is meant by this continentality? Let's see this. See here, the continentality is a geographical measure that describes the degree to which a region's climate is influenced by its remoteness from the ocean. See, I'll just say you in a simple words, just see. See, let's think so. This is India, right? This is Bay of Bengal, which is on the east. So let's take two locations. One is here, Vizag, and here is the Delhi. Okay, so normally what happens is that suppose if you take any location, its climate depends upon how far the particular location is present from the ocean. That means what? The climate of Delhi and the climate of Vizag is actually defined by how far these particular two locations are from the ocean. That means, see, Vizag is very much near to the ocean and Delhi is very much farther to it. So this says that Delhi has much more continentality. That means there is no water body around the Delhi. That is what called continentality. So now I'll just explain you what happens normally on the shore, or means any location. What happens if how the ocean, that means how near is the ocean, how it is actually affects the climate conditions in that particular location. See, let's think so. Let's take a place. This is the place. This is the land. Okay, and you have ocean over here. Okay. Okay, during the morning times, what happens is that the land gets heated much. That means what? Here the heated and here low heat. Because of this, there is actually change in the pressures. That means what? Here you have a high pressure zone and here you have the low pressure zone. That means already we know that the air moves from the higher to lower pressure, right? So that means what? In the daytime, it moves from the land to the ocean. Understood? And this gets reversed in the evening times. That means what? The low pressure will be formed, the high pressure will be formed over here, and the low pressure will be formed over here, and that the wind blows from here to here. That means from the ocean to the land. So this actually what happens is that this regulates the temperatures of that particular region. Okay, since actually there is no such type of phenomena happening at Delhi, because there is no ocean or any large water body over here, this doesn't happen. Because of this, in summers, if you see in Delhi, the high temperature peaks will go away, and even in the winters you will find the very low temperatures over there. This is what actually the continentality means. I hope you understood, right? So what does mean the continentality means? The distance of that particular location from any sea or ocean will have a direct influence on its climate. I'm not talking about the weather, okay? I'm talking about the climate of that particular thing, okay? So this is what happens over there. Since there is a movement of air from land to the ocean and ocean to the land, where the location is very near to the ocean, its climate will be not, in summers it will be not much more higher, and in winters also it will not go very low. It will be in a moderate way. But since there is no ocean near to the Delhi, the temperatures in the summer will reach around 51 degrees, and again the winters it will go around -1, -2 degrees. So this is what means by the continentality. Now let's see what are the local sources of these pollutants, okay? See, what are the local sources of the pollutants? The first and the foremost important thing is the vehicular emissions, the industrial emissions, diesel generators, construction activities, the burning of the firecrackers, and the burning of the municipal waste. See here, you need to understand one phenomenon over here. See, vehicular emissions. See, if you just imagine Bangalore and Delhi, if you just compare Bangalore and Delhi, mostly the number of cars are the same. But actually, this is not happening in winters. This effect of the decreasing the air quality index in Delhi is happening only in Delhi, not in the Bangalore. Why? Because I just said, because of this valley effect. Okay. See, because of that valley effect, what happening is that, see here what happening, this is Aravallis and these are Himalayan mountains, and this is Delhi, right? Because of what happening, the vehicular emissions are emitting over here, but actually it gets trapped between these two mountains. But that is not happening in the Bangalore because there is no actually valley effect over there. So that is the reason why the movement of the air is present over there, and so Bangalore will not have that much of effect of air quality index. So first one is the vehicular emissions, industrial emissions, diesel. So let's see what are the particulates will come. See, from the vehicle emissions you have PM 2.5, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, and from here industrial emissions SO2, okay, NOx, PM 2.5 in such a way. Okay, see, the most important thing is the thermal power stations. Okay, so from thermal power stations we have SO2, NOx, and again we have fly ash and heavy metals like mercury and everything. Okay, these are all actually the local source of the pollutants which are actually present around the NCR region. Okay, the next one, see the transboundary sources of the pollutants. The first one is the smoke from the stubble burning. We already seen that during the September to November, what happens is that in Punjab and Haryana, the harvesting takes place. So what happens, see, let's say suppose let's think so, this is the agricultural land, okay, and these are the plants, okay, which came for the harvesting season. Okay, so now what happens is that because these regions are much more mechanized, okay, the mechanized tractors or whatever it may be who are used for the cutting of this harvest plants, the cutting will happen till here only. Okay, this part of the plant is always is not removed from the land. Okay, so the farmers to keep ready for the next sowing, what they do is that they wanted to remove these things, this part. Okay, so if you wanted to engage some other workers and everything, it becomes much more costlier. So what they do, they'll just spread the petrol or diesel or whatever it may be, and they will just let it out. So that is what the reason why we have the stubble burning over there in Punjab and Haryana and some parts of the UP also. Okay. So dust particles from the Thar desert. See, this is also important. See there. See, if you see, this is India. Okay. And here is Delhi. Okay. And here you have this Thar desert. And here you have the Aravalli mountains. Okay. In this time, that means during the November to September, November and October, there is this wind called northwesterly winds. So these northwesterly winds are actually blowing towards Delhi. While it is actually moving towards the Delhi, what it happens is that it will take or lifts the sand over here in Thar desert and actually deposits in the Delhi. Okay, that is the second reason. That means the dust particles from the Thar desert. And already I said you the northwest winds, northwesterly winds that help these pollutants to reach Delhi. That means what? Both the pollutants from the stubborn burning and also pollutants from the dust particles. Okay, I hope you understood this transboundary sources, right? Till now what we have discussed is that one is how the geographical location of the Delhi is responsible for the pollution. Okay, what are the internal sources, what are the external sources, and what are the meteorological conditions which are actually contributing to the pollution in Delhi. Okay, now we shall talk about two important concepts. One is the reverse lapse rate and how this reverse lapse rate is actually contributing for the condition called as sulfur smoke. Okay, so what is meant by, first of all, what is meant by lapse rate? Lapse rate means whenever as the altitude increases, the temperature comes down. Okay, that is what actually lapse rate means. Reverse lapse rate means the reverse happens. That means whenever the altitude is actually increasing, the temperature actually increases. This is what called reverse lapse rate. So normally reverse lapse rate doesn't happen anywhere. There should be some prerequisites to happen such. Okay, so let's see what's the thing. See, normally what happens, I'll just say, you see this is the, so this is the ground, okay, earth. You have sun over here. Okay, in the daytimes what happens? The rays from the sun comes, that is called insolations, and hits the earth. Some part of the heat is actually trapped here in the earth. That means earth becomes hotter and actually it reflects the other rays called as terrestrial radiations. Okay, these are called terrestrial radiations, these are called insulations. Okay, so this happens in the morning time, and because of this terrestrial radiations, the atmosphere present over here gets heated. In the evening, what happens is that in the evening time, the trapped heat in the earth starts giving away this trapped heat. That means what? The cooling of the earth happens. This is what happens in the nights. Okay, this is what actually really what happens. This is a circulation thing. This is the day-to-day thing what happens. Okay, that is the sun will emit the insulations. Okay, and again in the daytimes and again in the evening, the earth actually transmits away whatever the heat which been trapped over here. So, but what happens in Delhi is, see, interestingly what happens in Delhi is that, see, this is Delhi, right? Right? So now there are some pollutants from here, that means internal pollutants and also the external pollutants. That means what? From the stubble burning and the dust from the Thar desert. Okay, these both will come over here and create a layer over here. Okay, since actually it's a valley effect, I said already I said you that it doesn't have the ventilation to go from that particular place, okay, location. Okay, they will get trapped over here. So now what happens is that automatically in the evening time or in the night time, see, in winters what happens is that in winters normally the days are actually shorter than the nights. Okay, so now at the night time what happens, the earth will release this heat whatever it actually trapped because of the insulations in the daytime. Okay, so the heat rays will lift over here, reaches this particular place where actually these all pollutants has been trapped over here. Okay, and this heat is not able to move away from this one. Okay, that means what? The earth will keep on getting cooler and cooler. That means here you have the cold air and here you have the hot air. Okay, this is what called as reverse rapture. So what's happening, as the altitude is increasing, the temperature of that particular air is also increasing. That is what called reverse lapse rate. Okay, I hope you understood what the reverse lapse rate is. Okay, so now let's see what happens if there is a reverse lapse rate. Okay, so this is what happening. Here you have the layer. Okay, so now in the next morning the sun's rays will not reach earth. That means it will come over here. Because of this pollutants, it will get reflected. That means this particular place will be converted into a place like a refrigerator. Okay, that means what? Keep on the temperature of this particular region, particular area will decrease drastically. Okay, so that means what? You will form, there will be forming a smog, and when this pollutant will mix with this one, there is a formation called as smog, and this smog is called as sulfur smog. See, sulfur smog is always formed only in the winters. You need to remember that. Okay, there is another type of smog called as photochemical smog, which is formed in the summers. Okay, so this is the reason why actually, see what happens. What do Delhi government do? It actually sprays some of the artificial rains, so cloud seeding and everything, to create an artificial rain, so that the rain comes and will clear this particular layer, so that the rays will enter into the Delhi's atmosphere. Okay, so this is how actually, this is the reasons why the Delhi's air quality index is actually decreasing. So let us analyze here. What can we do now? See, you can't take geographical factors out of it, right? Because you can't take Delhi from that particular place and put it somewhere else. Okay, you can't take actually Thar desert from there. You can't take Punjab or Haryana from that location, right? You can't even stop this northwesterly winds also. So the only thing what you can do is that you need to, all the states around the Delhi NCR has to come forward, and all the governments should come forward, sit together and get some solutions out of it, how we can decrease this pollution. This is only the way you can make sure that the AQ levels of the Delhi comes down. Okay, I hope you understand this. If so, just hit the like button, share this video to your friends, and let's meet you in the next video. Thank you.